Good evening, everybody. We begin tonight with a debate that affects millions of families with school-age kids and really impacts all of us. The U.S. Education Department has more than 4,000 employees and a budget approaching $70 billion. It mostly gives that money to states and localities that run our country's schools. Well, President Trump wants to get rid of that federal role by dismantling the department. He's reportedly working on an executive order to do just that, though legal experts say it would take an act of Congress to dismantle the department. The president saying this from the Oval Office when asked about his pick for Education Secretary Linda McMahon.
I told Linda, I hope you do a great job and put yourself out of a job. I want her to put herself out of a job. Education department. What I want to do is let the states run schools. I believe strongly in school choice, but in addition to that, I want the states to run schools.
Meanwhile, the New York State Education Department sent this message to all superintendents, pointing out that the state constitution guarantees an education for all kids in New York and saying diversity is a strength. It also says, quote, recent executive orders issued by the president are antithetical to this tradition of diversity, and it states that the president cannot decide which laws to enforce or funds to distribute. Attorney Barry Covert joins us live here on Voices tonight. He is kind enough to be a legal analyst for us here at 7 News, a senior partner at Lipsitz Green Chimay Cambria in Buffalo. Barry, it's always great to get your insight on this. And you have the politics of all of this, and then you have the legal side of it. And I've heard from a lot of experts who say the president can't just get rid of the education department with the stroke of a pen. How do you see it?
No, he cannot get rid of it with a pen. The Constitution provides that Congress can pass legislation that's then signed by the executive at the time. This happened in 1973. There is no power by a president to just rescind a law and just demolish a federal agency that was provided for by a law that was lawfully passed under our Constitution. The president is obligated to accept that money, to distribute that money, to do so through the Department of Education. He can issue executive orders that provide for different forms of management or different forms of organizational charts within the organization and how things are carried out. But Congress has the ability to allocate money for the various agencies, including the Department of Education, and the Supreme Court has repeatedly stated that the president is obligated to spend that money in the manner that they see fit under the law that was passed establishing the Department of Education. He can, again, through executive order, change the management of the Department of Education, but he cannot abolish it. He cannot refuse to spend the money allocated to it. This has been established law. Now, this is a new Supreme Court and in the last couple of years, and maybe this new Supreme Court is going to see things differently. But the Constitution is very clear, the laws are very clear that have been passed, and the courts up until now have been very clear that the president does not have the ability to do this.
And Barry, the State Education Department put out that message to all superintendents. I shared a little bit of it a moment ago. It does seem like New York could join other states in filing additional lawsuits challenging some of these executive orders. Do you anticipate that we're going to see that? And what do you make of New York here, the State Education Department saying, you know, every student has a right to an education and the president can't infringe on that right? Do you see this also playing out in the courts?
This will absolutely play out in the courts, without a doubt. Just like the other executive orders causing a general freeze of all federal monies, the courts have already put a hold on his attempt to try to strip all that federal money away from various agencies. You can fully expect that this will be litigated in our courts, that the states will get together, any other plaintiffs will file a lawsuit. This will end up in federal court at the district court level, then you can expect it'll go to the next level, the various courts of appeal across the country, and I would not be surprised if these executive orders land with the Supreme Court. This will be playing out for years.
Yeah, finally, Barry, I think some people have been surprised that more of these cases haven't come to a judge yet. Obviously, you have the sort of injunction, the temporary pause on the funding freeze from last week, which feels like a month ago in terms of all these things happening. But a lot of these other executive orders, we've heard there are challenges to them, but we haven't heard any court decisions. Does this stuff move quickly or slowly?
Depends on the judge you get. So if you get just like the general freeze that he passed 4 weeks ago, we have at least 2 judges who said, no, we're issuing an injunction. Federal government cannot stop spending the money that was allocated by Congress under the law, under the Constitution. So if we get a federal court judge that a lawsuit is brought, that will be asked to provide for an injunction enjoining the president from dismantling the Department of Education and refusing to spend the money allocated to it, I would suspect that an injunction will issue. And then there will be a slow litigation here to see whether the executive branch has the power to unilaterally rescind laws that were properly enacted by Congress. This will play out, but it really depends on whether an injunction will issue as to what the timing of all this is. And I really think that will issue. They have been issued on other issues, and I would expect it to be issued again now.
And of course, plenty of people supporting President Trump in his efforts with some of these executive orders, as others are challenging them in the courts and in the court of public opinion. Attorney Barry Covert, always great to get your insight, Barry. Thank you.
Thank you.